Welcome to the deep dive. So you sent over some really interesting technical analysis on Bitcoin.
Yeah, looking at the charts.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to dig into today. The idea is to pull out the key takeaways, what the charts might be telling us, so you get a clearer picture of Bitcoin's potential next moves.
Right. This analysis, it basically lays out a couple of main possibilities for where the price could go.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So the analysis starts by mentioning the bigger picture, right? This uptrend that kicked off back in 2022.
Yeah, exactly. That's the context. We're still technically in that longer-term bullish phase.
So this current stuff isn't just happening out of the blue.
No, not at all. And it's, important to remember that even within a big uptrend like that, you always get these phases, right? You get moves up, and then you get pullbacks or corrections along the way.
Okay, which brings us to the two main scenarios the analysis highlights. The first one is called the white scenario, something about one last high.
That's it. The white scenario, yeah.
Right.
It suggests we might see like one final push higher.
Okay.
But, and this is key, the analysis suggests it's probably a corrective pattern, an ABC pattern, technically speaking.
Meaning, even if it goes up, it's not strong.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It often points to some underlying weakness. So it could be more of a temporary bounce, not really a sign that the main bull market is just charging ahead again.
Interesting. So like a potential head fake before, before maybe the other scenario, the red scenario.
Exactly, that's the alternative. The red scenario basically asks, hey, maybe the bull market top is already in.
Okay, that's obviously a big difference.
Huge difference. And what makes it really tricky, according to this analysis, is that the price action, how the market behaves, it could look very similar in both scenarios initially.
Ah, so you wouldn't necessarily know which path we're on right away.
Right. It creates a lot of uncertainty in the moment.
Yeah.
Makes it hard to be sure.
Okay, so definitely a time to be paying close attention. Now, the analysis also flags a specific support area as being really important. Something about Fibonacci levels, between $80,000 and $83,000.
Yeah, that Fibonacci zone. So these levels, they're basically calculated from past price swings, and traders watch them as potential spots where the price might, react, find support or hit resistance.
And this 80 to 83K zone.
It's significant because the price has already bounced near there. It reacted to that level.
Yeah.
So it tells us, okay, the market is noticing this zone. It's relevant.
Got it. And thinking about that more negative red scenario, is there like a kill switch level, a price point that might confirm things are heading down?
Well, the analysis points to $78,421, 78,421.
Okay.
If the price breaks down and stays down below that level, that could
Yeah.
be a pretty strong signal that, yeah, the bearish red scenario is the one playing out.
So breaking that would suggest that any bounce we saw in that 80K zone wasn't strong enough to hold.
Precisely. It would suggest the bears are taking control, potentially.
Okay, wow. So it really feels like there's a lot of tension here, a lot of uncertainty about which way things will tip. The analysis mentions that too, right?
It does, yeah. That's a major point. The uncertainty right now is pretty high.
Mhm.
We're definitely at a kind of crossroads where either path seems possible.
But, okay, even with all that uncertainty, the analysis still seems to suggest keeping sort of an upside focus. But cautiously. How does that work? Seems contradictory.
Well, yeah, it sounds a bit like that. But the idea is, as long as the pullbacks, the dips we see, look corrective.
Meaning they don't look like sharp, impulsive selling.
Exactly. As long as they look like pauses or, weaker down moves, then technically the possibility for another move up is still on the table.
But stay cautious because of the red scenario risk.
Right, which is why the analysis stresses patience. It's a time to watch how the market behaves around these key levels we talked about, not necessarily jump the gun.
Okay, makes sense. So let's try and sum this up. Based on this chart analysis you shared, we've got these two main potentials for Bitcoin, right? One last high, but maybe a corrective one.
The white scenario.
Or the bull market might have actually topped out already.
The red scenario.
And the key zone everyone's watching is at $80,000 to $83,000 support.
The Fibonacci area.
And if we break below $78,421, that could be the signal the bears are winning out.
That could be the confirmation, yeah.
And an overarching theme. Lots of uncertainty right now.
That really captures the gist of it. Hopefully, breaking it down like this gives you and everyone listening a bit more clarity on what this analysis is suggesting.
Definitely helpful. So thinking about these scenarios, that key support, the breakdown level, it raises the question, what specific indicators will you personally be watching most closely in the next few weeks to try and gauge which way things might actually be heading? Definitely food for thought. Thanks for walking us through this deep dive.